Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the September 13th meeting of Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Our thought for today is Proverbs 22, verses 24 and 25. Don't befriend angry people or associate with hot-tempered people, or you will learn to be like them and endanger your soul. And it's my dog this morning. There we go. Come on, you little cutie. Lots of energy right here, I'll tell you. We've got a cute little dog from our kennel this morning. He is a Jack Russell Terrier mix, and he is available on Friday. So if you're looking for a dog, come down to our Lorain County Dog Kennel. Check us out on Facebook. We have how many dogs? 28, so we need your help. Remember, adopt, don't shop. Thanks. If we seem a little bit rushed today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to get through our agenda this morning. Then we're going to go into executive session to do a couple of personnel issues. And then Commissioner Kalo and Administrator Cortez are going to be leaving. They have to leave by 10 o'clock to get on a plane to do a rating presentation in New York. So then Commissioner Lundy and I will come back out and we'll finish our agenda. And if there's any public comment, we'll take it then. So just so you all know. Madam Clerk.
Under Resolutions, number 1, investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Travel.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I do have a couple potential hires at 911 that I want to talk about real briefly in maintenance and one at Job and Family Services. I also have a completed labor contract with our 911 employees I wish to discuss with the board. All of those topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion. So at the conclusion of what a part of the agenda we're going to do, I wish to go into executive session, have those conversations, and it should be pretty brief. But as you know,
It's going to have to be.
we have actually 2 rating presentations to do in New York, and we got to get out of here pretty quick.
Okay.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of August 23rd and 30th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $630,000 county building acquisition bonds for the veterans.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $2,460,000 capital improvement plan improvement bonds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Consolidate 2 bond issues into consolidated bond issues and establish terms of such. Building acquisition, $630,000. Capital improvement plans, $2,460,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $2,690,000 sanitary sewer improvements for the Redfern Road Bond Anticipation Note Series 2017 for purpose of paying costs of construction and acquiring sanitary sewer system improvements, including sewer line, force main, lift station, and other improvements together with all necessary appetances there and provide additional project funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $2,140,000 courthouse renovation project bond anticipation notes, Series 2017, for the purpose of paying cost of the renovating the county courthouse together with all necessary appetances thereto.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorize issuance of not to exceed $2,090,000 Job and Family Services Capital Improvement Bond Anticipation Notes, Series 2017, for purpose of paying costs of constructing and acquiring improvements to JFS building, including HVAC improvements, roof repair and replacement, sidewalk, parking lot, sewer, landscape, security, and all other site and building improvements together with all necessary appetances there, and provide additional project funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
This next one is actually supposed to be anticipated notes, so I'm going to read it correctly. Consolidate 3 bond anticipation note issues into consolidated anticipation note issues and establish terms as such. Redfern Sewer, $2,690,000, $2,140,000 courthouse, and $2,090,000 JFS.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Issuance and sale of sales tax receipt bonds in a maximum principal amount of $2,630,000 for purpose of paying costs of acquiring and installing required next generation 911 equipment together with all necessary appetances.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Issuance and sale of courthouse renovation sales tax receipts bond anticipation notes in the maximum principal amount of $5,050,000 for a purpose of paying part of the cost of renovating the county courthouse together with all necessary appetances.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Issuance and sale of CLE building improvement sales tax receipts bond anticipation notes and maximum principal amount of $1,530,000 for purpose of paying the cost of constructing and acquiring improvements, including roof and repair and replacement, sidewalk and parking lot repair and replacement, landscape and security, and other site and building improvements together with all necessary appetances.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Issuance and sale of capital improvement plan improvement sales tax receipts bond anticipation notes in the maximum principal amount of $530,000 for the purpose of paying the cost of constructing and acquiring improvements to various county-owned properties, including HVAC improvements, roof repair and replacement, sidewalk, parking lot, storm sewer, landscape security, and other site and building improvements together with all necessary appetances.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Issuance and sale of the JFS capital improvement sales tax receipts bond anticipation notes in the maximum amount of $320,000 for the purpose of paying part of the cost of constructing and acquiring improvements to the JFS building, including HVAC improvements, roof repair and replacement, sidewalk, parking lot, sewer, landscape, security, and all other site and building improvements together with all necessary appetances.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner,
Discussion.
at this point, just so we're through the bonds,
Wait,
I know.
need
We
a,
got one more.
Yeah.
no, I just need to finish
We
the
got
motion.
to finish the motion.
Ms. Kowski.
okay, sorry.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Okay.
Aye.
Chris.
Well, I thought maybe you want to have discussion on that before you
Yes,
voted.
aye.
But I know time is short, but just for clarification, a lot of this is not new money. I just want, folks that are looking out
Right.
there, a lot of this is, we were on short-term borrowing. We continue to stay on short-term borrowing, but that expires. So we have to renew a lot of the notes. Some of it's going to permanent financing. Some of it's just being recapitalized. So it's not a lot of new money. It's just that the time is up and we have to refinance the finance. So we have about $20 million that we're moving through, and we're going to a new rating agency. We've never been at Standard & Poor's before, so it's very important that we cobble this all together at this point. The difference between a good rating and a not so good rating means a lot of extra dollars in the finance cost. And we pulled it all together at this point so that the cost of issuance was a lot less. About $3 to $4 million of this is coming through the land bank, through the Port Authority for the demolitions that were done a few years ago. That's been in short-term financing. That money was spent. That was the match to all the money that came through the AG from the state and brought all that resources here. We finally need to go to permanent financing on that. A lot of the money is guaranteed that we borrowed for the new 911 equipment that has levy-supported dollars for that, as we've been working on. So I don't want anybody to know that we just went out and we're just borrowing $20 million. A lot of this has been in the works for several years, but we're starting to move into permanent financing or refinancing our short-term finance for another year or two. And again, next year we'll be out for about another $5 to $10 million as we partner with the health department on their new building, because we're doing the financing on their new building, working collaboratively with them, because they're guaranteeing their millage on that they have, but they can't do the borrowing, but they're going to guarantee the debt service. And some of the sewer notes that we stay recapitalized on for a couple of years until they get that project moving out there with the housing and the lot sold for the Redford sewer. So it's not a lot.
But they need to understand that that money, that debt service is not paid by the general fund, like for the sewers, it's paid for by the assessments to the property owners for the
The only
sewer.
debt that's paid for by general fund here is the capital improvement notes.
Right.
The Job and Family Services capital improvements is coming from the state to work on the building. The reason we did all the capital improvements to that building is because the debt service on the original notes for that building exhausted last year, created the opportunity to do capital improvements on the building and get paid by the state for maintaining the building. So very little is coming from the general fund. Most of it's coming from revenue funds, levy funds, and outside funds.
Like the veterans is coming from general fund, because they're a general fund
Correct.
department, but, yeah, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Create Fund 6005 Sales Tax Bond Fund for the purpose of paying costs associated with the various notes and bonds backed by sales tax receipts collected.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
One last piece on that. This is the first time we're doing sales tax backed bonds. The county as a whole, municipalities, villages, townships, county as a whole, is outside the 10 mills limitation of debt issuance for every political subdivision in the county. So everybody that issues debt now has to either do it with a sales tax pledge or an income tax pledge. There's no more inside millage pledge. So it takes different kind of financing now. That was exhausted by Avon the last time they put up the last of the stadiums out there, and we knew that. They notified us that they were going to exhaust the rest of the millage on the inside 10 mills for the valuation of the county. So that's another reason why we have to go and we have to work differently on this financing. Again, I'm hopeful that we're going to bring back a really good rating, but it's a different kind of challenge this time.
Under Community Development, Resolution 17486 adopted July 26, 2017, awarded contract to number 2 Green Home Solutions Cleveland in the amount of $3,960 for Gina Boyle at 321 Deepwood Amherst for home repair work. Amendments to correct the account number.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Amendment Resolution 17487 adopted July 26, 2017, awarding contract to Solid Ground Construction Westlake in the amount of $9,020 for Elizabeth Swank at 4575 French Creek Road, Sheffield Village for home repair. Amendment is to correct the account number.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Job and Family authorized purchase of service with Information Technologies and Training in Norwalk to provide Microsoft Access programming and staff training in the amount of $27,040 effective October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018, and authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorized purchase service agreements with various vendors for Title 20 Social Service Block Grant funded services for federal fiscal year effective October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018, and authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form. Lorain County General Health District, Elyria, for health-related and home health services in the amount of not to exceed $10,000. Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry, Cleveland, for protective services for adults in the amount not to exceed $9,000. And Lorain County Safe Harbor, Lorain, for protective services for adults in the amount not to exceed $12,500.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorized purchase service agreements with various vendors for Title 20 Social Service Block Grant funded services for federal fiscal year 2018, effective October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018. Authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form. Lorain County Children and Families Council to provide case management services in the amount not to exceed $78,002.78. Neighborhood Alliance Elyria for emergency shelter services in the amount not to exceed $50,000. And Fraternal Health Care Cleveland to provide home health services in the amount not to exceed $18,000.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Authorized purchase service agreement with Northern Ohio EMS Academy, North Ridgeville, in the amount of $2,000 to provide CPR and first aid training classes to the employees effective September 15th through December 30th, 2017, and authorized director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors for approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Common Pleas Adult Probation approved grant agreement with Ohio Department of Rehab and Correction Division of Parole and Community Services Bureau of Community Sanctions Targeted Community Alternatives to Prison TCAP in the amount of $1,375,180.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Under the Sheriff, receive and file annual report in accordance with the ORC 311.16 of all fines and costs collected by the Sheriff's Office for the year next preceding September 1st, 2017, in the amount of $332,919.54.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, I would make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss personnel matters and other issues that Mr. Cortez has outlined.
Second.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
And we'll return, they have to leave at 10, so it won't be long. I told you we'd be back.
Commissioners have reconvened from executive session.
Uh,
So Mr. Cortez.
Motion to approve personnel summary sheet.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
And I have in my possession an agreement between Local 8845-02 United Steel and Forestry Rubber Manufacturing Engineer Allied Industrial and Service Workers International Union, which is our 911 agency. And it's a union contract that I would like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Okay, you want those?
Yeah.
Did I give you the personnel summary sheet? There you go. Okay. Okay,
Something else? Okay.
that's it.
Mr. Ennis, you're up.
I did not have anything for executive session.
Oh, good. We don't have to go back into executive session. This is good.
All right, so Commissioners report.
I do not have a report this morning.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll give a short update. if That's okay. First off, I want to send out congratulations to Main Street Elyria, put on another successful Pops concert. As the representative from this board to Main Street, we were down there setting up chairs, I think at noon on that Saturday. That was Labor Day weekend, so we're going back a couple weeks. We didn't have a meeting the other week, and all worried about how the weather was going to work out. Thank goodness the weather worked out. We had to run out the last minute and get some heating units for the orchestra. I guess I don't know enough about music to know that if the weather gets cold, I guess it has an impact on the instruments. So I had to make sure the heating units were in place. It's just always one of the best events of the year, and if you haven't had a chance to attend it or make it, certainly try to make it there. Also had the opportunity to attend the Labor Fest, Labor Day weekend. See a lot of the organizers here. You guys did a great job. Another nice event. I understand bigger and better than ever. So it was well attended, very good speakers, and Mary did a nice job too, one of the speakers. So, but very good event as always, and something we look forward to each year. And the only thing I don't look forward to is getting up so early in the morning and going over there and setting everything up. But I'll be there a little earlier next time. This time I was told 7. You guys got there at 6:30 or something. So I'll be there on time next year. The All Veterans Day event that took place at Black River, that was on Sunday. Couldn't have asked for better weather. Great turnout. Boy, our veterans just do so much. You know, they serve our country, then they come back home and they just continue to serve and serve and serve, and then help a lot of the veterans that are, you know, struggling to make that transition back to life here in the States. And just want to commend all of them for a really great event. They were also recognizing our first responders, which I don't know about you folks, but it's still difficult all these years later seeing those images of 9/11. And it gives you a much better understanding of the day in and day out risk that our first responders actually face. You know, they're running towards the burning buildings and running towards the bullets and all the chaos when we're running for our lives in the other direction. So can't say enough about our first responders. And had our lakefront meeting over at Lakeview Park the other day, and I think the communities are going to be very interested in seeing some of the proposals, and I know with Councilwoman Springowski, you'll be interested in seeing some more of the concepts. You were some of those meetings, and we actually are going to be revealing those. The important part is we're going to be putting dollar figures with those, which is the critical part. But to know that all the lakefront communities are coming together, working together to put together a lakefront plan, and it always comes down to money, but first you have to have a plan, and this was a planning grant. And then the next phase is to go after an implementation grant so that we can start to phase in some of these plans. But anybody who comes to our area, and I'm sure we've all experienced it, if we have friends or family come in from out of state, they're just awed by the lake. And the lake is just a huge asset for us that we have to capitalize on. And if you're in attendance this weekend, the Apple Festival in downtown Elyria, we're always glad to be a part of that. I've been asked to MC the Queen's pageant. Yeah, so look out, all those hosts of those beauty pageants on TV. You got some competition coming up there, but I've been asked to host that. I did that many moons ago, so I'm being called out of retirement to help fill in for former Councilman Gary Gibbs, who used to do that. That'll be taking place at 1 o'clock. But the Apple Festival is always a great event. The only part I don't like is all the bees seem to come out, don't they, Larry? The bees are everywhere for that thing. But so it'll be a good event and a great community event for downtown Elyria. So I encourage everybody to come out. And it starts much earlier, obviously, on Friday, but the Queen's event is on at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And I think that completes my report, Madam Clerk, or Madam President.
Yeah, Madam Clerk.
And Madam Clerk.
Thanks she was a fast reader today. We got to give her
Yeah,
credit to get through that really quick. So
You'll be hearing her on a auto disclaimer at the end of the commercial, where you can never understand what the person's saying. Yeah, you read really fast. I told her when I was in Columbus, I think that was one of the requirements of the job with the clerk, is who could read the fastest actually got the job.
you did good.
Well, these were from last week. We already did these, so, we had the ditch hearing ditch viewing on Monday at Freeland, Elyria Township, which you guys attended. And then we had our land bank meeting yesterday. So, board correspondence?
I move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Lundy?
Aye.
See? And public comment.
Anybody wishing to address the board this morning? Either podium, whichever one you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, you get your choice, right or left podium.
And we know who you are, but for the record, we know you have to say your name and where you're from.
How would you know who I am?
We know.
All right. Well, for the record,
Yes.
Right.
Harry Williamson, and I'm here on behalf of Lorain County AFL-CIO and also the Lorain County Organized Labor Festival. And to follow up on your comment, Commissioner Lundy, you were there early. I remember seeing you there early. And if anybody says they were there at 6:30, they're lying. I was the only one.
You were the only one?
So, but again, on behalf of our festival, we'd like to thank those county agencies. You were out there early helping out, and a special thanks to Sheriff's Committee and all our men and women over at the Sheriff's Department. Again, Sheriff's always very hospitable and very appreciative of what we do, and we appreciate them as well. So for the record, thanks to all those county officials that helped make this event a successful one again. So thank you. And with that, I go from good to bad. I have a letter here, and I'm going to read it. Commissioners, on behalf of the officers, delegates, and representatives of the Lorain County AFL-CIO, let it be known that during a recent meeting of the above referenced individuals, a motion was passed unanimously to support the efforts that are currently being taken on behalf of members of local UAW 2192, including all steps necessary to assist in the productive, lawful, and gainful attempt to obtain a collective bargaining agreement with the Lorain County Department of Jobs and Family Services. The time's here. The time's arrived, and we must publicly voice our disappointment with the lack of judgment, the disrespect to bargain in good faith by the representatives of Lorain County, any and all legal associates that are being compensated on behalf of Lorain County, either by retainer, appointed, or elected. On September 15th, 2017, it reflects 1 year that local UAW 2192's contract expired. These individuals have been dedicated to their jobs within that year, and they've consciously and loyally continued to serve the residents of our communities. Mind you, without a collective bargaining agreement. These women and men are our neighbors. They're the ones we shop with, go to church with, possibly have children and grandchildren that go to school with some of the clients they serve. And here's the sad thing. Here's what really disappoints me. Some of these members of UAW Local 2192 that work for the county, they're eligible themselves for public assistance. That disgusts me. And also, some of their dependents are Medicaid eligible. Think about it. Just take a minute to think about this. It's now time we as organized labor inform you that our members are struggling, just as many men, women, and children within our communities. It's time we as organized labor inform you, Lorain County Commissioners, that you are very accommodating to us as union members when you're campaigning, when you're running for an elected office. You stop by every 2, 4, 6 years. It's time we as organized labor inform you as elected officials, you have a fiscal responsibility to represent the citizens and taxpayers and residents of our county, my county, in a responsible fashion. A trait that you've been lacking. When you willfully and carelessly waste, yes, I said waste, over $59,610 in just the first 6 months of this year with a law firm that has its primary offices down in Central Ohio. It disgusts me. We have capable
Harry,
and knowledgeable.
We have a 3-minute rule, and
Okay.
I've let you go like 2 minutes
Well,
over, so.
you added my kudos to, so let's give me 45 seconds,
Okay,
please.
okay.
The savings alone could have possibly created the successful road to a ratified collective bargaining agreement. We will never know. The money has been spent, or should I say wasted. The working men and women of Lorain County are proud. They're dedicated, they're loyal. They work tirelessly. And being treated fairly and equitable with wages, benefits, and respects. Our men and women of organized labor are proud of our affiliations. We are proud to give back to our communities. We are proud to volunteer our time and resources. In closing, I will emphasize, not only do we have a right to bargain in good faith, without retaliation, intimidation, and harm, we have a right, a lawful and human right to assist, support each other, and it's what we plan on doing. We will call you, we will visit you, we will shop with you, and we'll continue to stand next to you wherever you may be. Why? Because we're your neighbors. And last but certainly not least, not only do our brothers and sisters have a lawful right to choose yes or no in reference to a collective bargaining agreement, in addition, another important choice we have is to choose who will be our next Lorain County Commissioners. Give UAW 2192 a contract today.
My name is Mary Springowski. I live at 2122 East Skyline Drive. I am here not as a councilwoman, but as a 26-year member of UAW Local. Right now I'm at Local 1250, but previously before that I was Local 2000. I'm going to start with the Ohio Democratic Party principles, which were adopted in 8/29/98. As the Ohio Democratic Party, we are proud to adopt these principles based on our belief in an Ohio that values opportunity and equality for all its citizens and respects both the self-reliance of individuals and the benefits of teamwork to meet the challenges of a fair and just society. To that end, we believe that the best government is one that is efficient yet understanding, a government that is based not on systems or bureaucracies, but on people, ideals, and values. We believe that there is no substitute for fair and equal representation and strong public participation in government chosen by election. We believe in a government that stands on the side of Ohio families, that listens, understands, and addresses their concerns. We believe that all Ohioans reap benefits when we as a state meet our challenges together. We believe in the equality of all Ohio citizens and condemn any discrimination. We believe in a society that strengthens Ohio's families and protects our children's. We believe in the rights of all Ohioans to achieve economic security and find affordable housing, to seek good jobs at livable wages and protection for our workers in a growing and robust economy. We believe in a society that puts health and safety and prosperity of its citizens first, one that promotes excellence in education, choices in quality health care, and a healthy environment for all Ohio citizens. So here sits before us 3 commissioners who are elected by the people, for the people, and of the people, and claim to be Democrats. The aforementioned are the party principles that they swore to uphold, which then begs the question, why are we here again? We were in this very same position a few years ago, 2 of the same commissioners and the same third-party human resources company. It was my belief that the county needed to be fiscally conscientious due to economic difficulties, given that they had implemented a sales tax increase despite the voters voting it down. However, they're quite happy to spend nearly $60,000 so far on Clemans and Nelson and their so-called services. I would at this time question their commitment to the workers at JFS, to the taxpayers, and to the party that has supported them when they have capriciously prolonged negotiations yet again. I put the party principles at the top of this to remind them of their sworn obligations. I know that the principles of the county party actually outline their commitment to labor, which would appear that these commissioners refuse to uphold. Seems a little hypocritical to me and only goes to prove the old saying of penny wise, pound foolish. As a member of labor, I find it more than a little hypocritical that these same commissioners will come to labor asking for their support and help in getting elected, and then turn around when it comes to negotiations and will hire a firm that is known for its anti-labor stance. This isn't about economics, because commissioners have shown in the past that they could care less about the economics of the situation when it comes to something they want. We have 3 commissioners and a county administrator, yet they still need to contract with an outside firm in order to negotiate labor agreements. Up to this point, I've been adamantly opposed to the proposed new form of government, but it does make one wonder if it wouldn't help negate the necessity of someone like Clemans and Nelson. If memory serves correctly here, and it does, at a town hall meeting with the commissioners and the public in Lorain at City Hall, at that time the audience made it clear they were not happy that the commissioners continued to contract with Clemans and Nelson. One commissioner at the time was a Republican and agreed that Clemans and Nelson needed to go. One commissioner who was just recently reelected and is not here at the time thought that they did not, and the tie vote would have come to the other recently elected commissioner, but at that time she chose to say nothing. The result of this firm's efforts was a 2-day strike, and it would seem that these 3 commissioners would take the workers to the point of strike again. And what is gained from a strike? In this case, nothing but inconvenience to the people who depend on the services provided by JFS, hereby illustrating the wanton lack of concern evidenced by the commissioners to the most vulnerable in our community. It is here I would say that we need to take a serious look at the commissioners we are electing and see who they truly represent. I'm sure they would think differently if it was their wages and benefits as well as working conditions that were being negotiated. But I would admonish them with this: do not ever come to labor and stand before us saying that you support labor and then ask for our help when it is so clear that you do not. Thank you.
You talked fast, but you still went a little bit over. Good try, though.
And she
She
talked that
talks
fast.
fast, a lot faster. Either you were almost as fast as Teresa Upton, actually.
Yeah.
I talk slow. I'm from the south. My name is South Elyria. My name is Jim Sloane. I live at 1504 Park Avenue, Elyria, Ohio. I'm here today as the chairman of the UAW Cap Council, and I would like to thank Harry Williamson for the letter of support for our brothers and sisters at Local 2192. I'd like to inform the commissioners that last Thursday we had a state board meeting with all of Indiana, all of Ohio, to publicly call each one of you out by name and say that you guys are so-called Democrats, but yet you do not stand on the principles of the Democratic Party and working with men and women in labor. Not only did they call you out as not doing your job, you were called out in the state as being traitors to the working people of this great state of Ohio and this great county. So now, as a result of that action, anyone who comes before the state board for money as a Democrat will no longer get money. People who go to Indiana and ask for money in the Democratic Party will no longer get money. Why? Because they're going to point back to you three commissioners, and you guys are the problem, that they're not going to get money because of the way you treat Local 2192 and the way you use Clemans and Nelson. And now, when they ask for money, they're going to be calling you guys and say, why are you screwing with our contract? Because we can't get money in Cincinnati. We can't get money in Indiana because of you guys, because of the actions that you guys have taken. You have put the whole state in a jeopardy because of your actions. And because of those actions, I'm here today because of Rich Rankard, our new regional director, who has said, we are not going to stand for these commissioners treating our members unfairly, which you have been. And we are here to ask you today that you get rid of Clemans and Nelson. And I'm here personally to ask you, on behalf of the region, how much do you spend on Clemans and Nelson every year? Since Commissioner Kokoski, do you know?
No, I don't have that information in front of me.
You don't have it in front of you.
But I thought I saw our budget director. Do you have an idea off the top of your head? And it's not just the commissioners. A lot of our departments use Clemans and Nelson. So I don't know which. Who do you want to know?
Want to know totally what you spend with Clemans and Nelson a year, because we can spend that money in the county, and how much you spend on collective bargaining. I would like to know that.
Okay, well,
because I would hope someone could answer that, because we spend thousands and thousands of dollars here, but we don't know what we're spending on an outside anti-union, anti-worker law firm that comes up from, I think it's Westerville or wherever it's at. You read their website, you would be shocked. But on behalf of the UAW Cap Council, on behalf of the state UAW, we're here to tell you that we have labeled each one of you as traitors to working men and women, and you have committed treason on behalf of these people.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
We have one issue.
Dead serious.
One issue.
Dead serious.
And we did have a fact sheet that we were going to send out, but as of yesterday late afternoon, which we found out this morning, that CERB ordered the parties, us and the union, to mediation. So we're not going to talk about issues or anything right now. I mean, I could say a lot.
A lot
of things that you're saying are ridiculous, because we have not treated anybody with any disrespect that I'm aware of. I mean, I've never treated anybody in this room with disrespect. So, and calling us traitors and treason and all that is really
Commissioner
over the
Kokoski,
top.
let me just say this to you and Mr. Lundy. Let me say this to both of you. You personally may not think you're treating them with disrespect. You may think that you're not treating them unfairly. When you send your representatives in to negotiate these contracts, what they do falls back on you. And the way that they treat these ladies and these gentlemen at 2192 fall directly back on your shoulders, and no one else's, because as commissioners, you are in charge of that negotiations. And when they say something, and when they treat them unfairly, when they treat them like a piece of crap in the workplace, it falls back on you.
I've never heard of anybody being treated disrespectfully, other than the fact that we can't come to an agreement on this one issue.
Well, you know what? There are many issues out there, which I'm not here in a collective bargaining, to be part of the collective bargaining agreement. I'm here on behalf of the UAW to tell you what's going on. And
well, I think there's a lot of misstatements have gone on, a lot of them, and hopefully all the facts, the true facts, will come out in the end, and we'll go from there. And hopefully we'll all be able to go on.
We can go from there. We can go from there.
Yeah.
But I will tell you right now, as President Williamson said, we have the right to pick our commissioners.
That's right.
And we vote every so often. And I can tell you right now, the UAW Region 2 has given me direction to make sure that I find somebody to run against each and every one of you, and they will finance those campaigns.
I think the important thing is, and I guess this is something I've stressed to anybody who ever wants to get into public service, is that you shouldn't make it personal. It should be about business. I can't stress enough, and Larry knows, Larry's a council person, Mary's a council person. They have to negotiate with, their units as well, too. Believe me, I wouldn't question Larry's commitment to labor or Mary's commitment to labor but if things don't quite work out the way that the fire one or the police one or whatever the case may be. I've known Larry for a long time, longer than I've known Mary. I've known you for quite some time, too. But, it's just, it doesn't have to be personal, I think that, if you talk to labor leaders throughout the state, my voting record of supporting labor is extremely strong. I think what I stressed even the day that I came over and met with the workers when they were on strike when I was running for office, it's a collective bargaining process. Thank God we have it. Thank God we have it.
Absolutely.
Because there were a lot of people who wanted to take it away and still want to take it away.
I just wish we could get our part of the collective bargaining agreement apart.
I'm just trying to respond to your concerns. So there's a process in place. It's going to run its course. Do the employees have a tough job over Job and Family Services? Absolutely. Does the state make things any easier for them? No. It's a tough job. No question about it. I value our employees. I respect our employees. I also respect and value the collective bargaining process. And as Lori pointed out, unfortunately, I'd hope to respond to more things. The facts are eventually going to come out.
Sure.
All the facts will come out. We don't want to be in this position any more than anybody else does, right? So, we really wanted to respond a lot more to the concerns today, but I think as Lori's pointed out, I think it was between 3 and 4 o'clock yesterday, we found out that we're going into mediation on Tuesday, and you folks have all been in collective bargaining process, and you know how things work.
Been doing this for 45 years.
Serve mediators. They've ordered both parties to come in. I guess it's going to be in this building. We even offered to have it at a neutral site if somebody wanted to have it at a neutral site, but it's going to be in this building. And I think just at this time it would be, just premature to get into a lot of the issues. So because that'll be taken care of through the process.
You can't get into a lot of the issues, just like I can't get into a lot of the issues. I couldn't stand here and debate them with you because there's laws against that.
But the bottom line is, like Harry pointed out, we're neighbors. I mean, I see you all the time. I see Larry all the time, Harry, Mary, whatever it may be.
Matt.
And at the end of the day, we still want something that is, going to work out at the end of the day so that everybody can take care of the needs they need to address.
Commissioner, and believe me, we all want it to work out in the end. We want it to work out to be the best for everybody. It's we want a fair agreement. This is what it's all about.
What affects them affects us exactly the same. Whatever they get, we get.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it doesn't. No.
As far as the health insurance, the thing that's on the table,
In discussion here, so I'd like to point out something. You have engaged.
you have to come up to the microphone.
Right, absolutely. You have engaged with a firm to negotiate the contract on your behalf as your representative. Therefore, their actions directly speak towards you.
The
All right?
outcome.
And no, their actions during the course of this directly reflect on the commissioners
Well,
here.
I don't hear,
And
I'm not in the room to hear exactly what they say.
why not?
Why not? We never have.
You should.
No.
You should, because otherwise,
Well,
then
I
you
mean, I'm not
have.
in the room. If they're saying something derogatory to somebody, I wouldn't know unless somebody told me that.
Madam Chair, there needs to be some order here. I've
Yeah.
sat
But-
in lots of
True.
committees.
But
You just,
at that
the
point,
council meetings don't run like this anymore.
you need to remember that the actions of Clemans and Nelson, and you've been told this before, it is not a secret. This discussion took place at the town hall meeting that I referenced at City Hall. The actions of Clemans and Nelson directly reflect on the commissioners, and they are reflecting very poorly. We've made that clear time and again. That there is a problem with this. When on their website, my brother took a screenshot of it, when on their website, at the time, they were boasting about union busting.
I've never seen that.
Paul's got the thing.
Okay.
And this is very personal for me because it affects my sister-in-law. And it affects a great many of my friends, who also are my neighbors. And I have been in negotiations. I've been in several negotiations with Ford Motor Company. And they're always very careful to remember that what takes place in those negotiations reflects directly back on the company. And we're not even just talking about economic issues here. We're talking about a moral obligation to these people that are providing a valuable service to the community as a
I
whole.
agree. You know what, I agree with 99% of all of what everybody has said here, as far as.
Then, once
wanting
again,
the
your
best for
problem
our
is with
employees.
Clemans and Nelson.
Well, this
And
is not a discussion about
this-
Clemens and Nelson
You're
at this
going,
point.
they are causing a lot of the problems here with this situation.
With this
And we're-
particular
and they have in the
unit.
past, and they're doing this again. And next time, when is the contract up again? In another couple of years? Are we going to be back here again because of the same antics that are going on? Unfortunately, if they're involved in it, I have a feeling that we will. Thank you.
And just let me, and I'm going to sit down because Matt and Laura, and I'm sorry, commissioners, at the end of the day, we all want to be friends. We all want to sit down and eat.
Sit down and break bread.
Yeah, time sit down, break bread, do whatever we need to do.
Have a beer.
But here's the thing. You guys are taking the brunt of this because of who you hire to do your negotiations. Other counties sit down, they're commissioners, and they do their own negotiations. We have people right here in this county that could do those negotiations, which you all are very familiar with. But just in saying that, we want this to come. We want this to be resolved. We want this to come to an end. We do want
As
Clemens
do
and
we.
Nelson as we do want Clemens and Nelson out. But I'm gonna just like I said, that's our whole thing.
Okay.
And it was explained to me by my regional director. He said, "Damn it, Jim. If we're going to have commissioners that don't have any say-so or don't have enough guts to come to the table and negotiate with us, then let's elect Clemens and Nelson to be our commissioners up there instead of those three."
Anybody else wishing to address the board this morning? See none, no? Yes? Oh. Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning.
Cliff Rivenbark, 829 Marion Street, Sheffield Lake. I would bring my timer because I am long-winded and I know something will happen. Just briefly on today's paper for Mr. Lundy about the issue 6 for the 57 lights, the wonderful rose bushes and grasses and some of the things that we do. In life, if I wanted to buy a new home, buy some new vehicles and spend that kind of money, there's consequences to me in my future budgets. Being a homeowner since '79 in Elyria, I've got to see many brick and mortar monuments built in the city for job creation and for the comfort of the people in the city. Maybe a benefit of skimming on the maintenance for a few years, but I'm sure it came out of somebody's money at some expense, because my mortgage and my car payments would be a challenge on me personally. So if we're talking about budgets today, that's a lot of money, $20 million. I have to look at it a little bit different. I'd have to look at things we talked about and people talked about their own budgets before we got into the taxing situation. You did have a little bit of an openness to want to know if there were other options. That closed very quickly. It immediately became a situation, and I guess I'll end with that, as the Cleveland Cavaliers and their reform issues and Mr. Nance, it became one of those situations where we're taking this darn team out of here. And that, to me, is what I personally felt. And those are the feelings that I was talking about, that immediately it was not to be fearful or threatening or frightening to me, But to say that we have to have a 20% across the board cut and then have all the gentlemen on this side end up saying, there's going to be rapists on the street. There are going to be con people out stealing your grandmother's money. We're going to drive on gravel roads. Well, Mr. Nance, you said that wonderful. The team is leaving. We're out of here. You're not playing the game. That is the disrespect that comes, that you don't feel, but comes from up there. And you want to know why we get passionate and loud? Because we feel potentially a disrespect, because you're not really here to listen about options and to have open-minded discussions. I personally, if I want to have a new house, I must choose between something less than my wishes of gold veins and marble tops. I can't have champagne on the soda water money that I have. So if you're looking at, hey, if I was in wonderful shape, I'd take those $5 million that you took bonds off of, and I'd be happy with 5% interest. That money, you are putting us in debt to spend. And it may only be $20 million, but in 1940, this building, its usefulness was done. And you are putting up the rose gardens for a museum and a monument that you might as well put the gold dome back up, along with the budget for the Burns Road. I'm sure there's other investments in other areas of real estate that you own that you don't have to go out and get a great deal and spend $2 million on a Burns Road 9/11 area. There are other options. If you're going to cry for something that's important. And thank you for your time. But there is a disrespect. What we feel on this side, when you spend on a champagne on our budget, we feel it.
And just for clarification of the viewers, issue 6 is an Elyria issue, and may want to have a conversation with one of your councilmen after the meeting, but that's not a county issue. So Elyria will tell you when the upcoming council meeting is.
It's Monday night, 7 p.m., second floor. Jeff Baxter, 160 Burns Road, Elyria. I wanted to say that this portion of the commissioners' meeting really shouldn't be called public comment. It should be called public comment and commissioner debate.
It has turned into that.
As it's turned into that. The resolution that was passed recently to support this probably needs some revisiting. I think the 2192 situation here with this contract is money related, you know, and I think that there's a number of projects that go on all the time, and as Mr. Rivenbark talked about, it seems like there's a champagne taste for all these projects. I don't know that Lorain County is a champagne county. I think it's more of a Buick, maybe even a Chevrolet at times. And if there were a couple $1 million pulled back from that courthouse project, then I think maybe the 2192 could have been satisfied within the last year. And
They're
that
not, sir,
year-
just for clarification, they're not paid for out of general fund dollars, so the courthouse renovation project doesn't impact the
Well,
job
then-
family services.
Then I think something needs to be done to help the voters understand where these monies come from. You know, if you've seen the TV
It's complicated.
commercial
Maybe
about
you
the-
need to come and speak
about
with
the
us.
orange money and the green money, well, maybe we need some explanations as to, is this blue money or red money or
Yep.
yellow money? What is it?
Right.
You know, because it's really
complicated.
tough to understand, yeah.
It's very
But at any
complicated.
rate, the year that's almost passed between the 9/15 last year and this year, that is the disrespect that's being shown to this group here today. And I really feel that for them. They're put in the unenviable position of breaking out the only big gun they have, and that is to potentially strike. And I feel bad for them on that. To the 2192, I would encourage you, regardless of the outcome of this, November 2018, there's an election for a commissioner seat. In November 2020, there's 2 elections. It matters not who the other candidate is. Don't vote for one of the current commissioners.
Yeah, I guess I'd just like to point out, I would encourage you, Mr. Baxter, Tony Shanahan is seated right behind you, and Sandra just left the room. I've told you numerous times that anytime you want to come in and sit down and walk through the budget, I hear you reference the budget and not in wanting clarification on different issues, and I will say it again. I don't know how many times I've said it. I know you've heard me say it, Lori. You know, if things don't end when the meeting's over, and some folks have said to me, geez, I only get 3 minutes. No, 3 minutes in the boardroom, but anytime you want to come in and meet, all you got to do is call, email, we'll schedule. There you go. Tony, yeah, set up time for Mr. Baxter to come in, and we'll talk it all through, because I want to make sure you understand it. Mary understands, Larry understands how taxpayers, regardless of what level of government it is, they don't understand how the process works. And I'm not saying it's a complex process. Sometimes I learn something new. Most of the time I do. So let's sit down and have a conversation. But it doesn't end at this podium when your 3 minutes is up. You know, you can call anytime. You can email anytime. We can sit down and have a conversation. I can meet you for coffee. You can come to my office, whatever you want to do. And I think, you know, when you serve as a public servant, I think Mary's serving well, Larry's serving well. They both realize that it's important to educate the public on how things work, and that'll clear up a lot of the confusion. So I would just, you know, once again invite you to do that.
Absolutely. Anybody else wishing to address the board before we adjourn? Seeing none, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I would second that motion.
Kokoski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.